Welcome back to the Guard Your Savings podcast with Dolph Janis, the owner and founder, insurance professional too, of Clear Income Strategies out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm your co-host, Doug Turnbull. As we cracked up about here in the last episode, Dolph, I'm Doug, he's Dolph, to make sure people know the difference, okay? Hey, I wanted to ask, and I didn't prepare you for this, but this popped into my mind a moment ago. You go by Dolph, and I just thought, okay, he's got a unique first name. I didn't even think until I looked up in our system and was getting some of your information to prepare for the show, like, oh, your name is Randolph, it's so is that's interesting. It's sort of like being called Topher instead of Chris, right? Like, did you start going by Dolph as a kid, or is that an adult, or did your parents choose that, or what?
Well, my legal name is Randall Francis Dolph Joseph Januszewski. That's my legal name.
What? I didn't know the last name. Okay, wow. Okay.
Parents shortened my last name to Janis from Januszewski for easier purposes growing up. Being Catholic, was growing up and I was given godfather name, birth name, and they named me Randall was my first legal name. And Francis Joseph was my middle name. My grandfather was also born on the same day as I was, different year, obviously. His name was Francis.
Okay.
And his father was also born on the 21st, and his name was Dolph. And they were both married to a Josephine. So they made my middle name Francis Dolph Joseph. Well, through our family and the way we were brought up, we go by one of our middle names, and I decided to be grown up. I decided to choose Dolph as the name to go by. So when I hear the name Randall, it's usually my wife being mad at me. I'm like going, oh, boy. So, or my mom or my dad, they'll call me Randy or Randall. But, in general, for the last 40-plus years, I've been going by Dolph, my middle name.
Dolph,
three of them. I didn't want to be Francis or Frankie or Frank. I didn't want to be Joe or Joey. I didn't want to sound like one of those, yo, man, I'm Joey, boy. That's just not me. I'm not that type. And so I went by Dolph. So
oh my gosh,
that's the version of where my name came from.
Okay, so and I was just assuming it was off of Randolph, like
that's what most people. Most people think, but they know.
Okay, well, I shortened Douglas to Doug in right before sixth grade, like on the day you go meet your teacher, right before sixth grade. I was 12 years old, I guess. No, I was 11 years old, and I was like, nope, too cool for Douglas now. That's my late grandfather's name, and you mentioned being Catholic. My late father, Peter, he had the three middle names, Gregory, Weddle, and Damien. So PGWT or PGWDT. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, those were his initials there. So that's a lot to sort through. But yeah, Dolph, I'm glad you're on with us today. And you mentioned your wife there, you and her, when you were on your cruise. We talked all about that in our last episode. We were describing qualified versus non-qualified money. You were on that cruise because it was your 20-year wedding anniversary. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's hard to believe. We met 20 years ago, and she was living in Connecticut. I was living here. We met through the internet, spoke for 9 months before we ever met. And then January 4th of 2004, we got together. And then 10 months later, we got married, boom. And it's been heaven ever since. It's amazing. We've never been in an argument. Hard to believe in 20 years.
We've
had some disagreements. We've never been in an argument.
There is a difference too. All right. In other words, you haven't been in a fight. You've been in an impasse maybe, but you never lost your temper, so to speak.
Nope, not allowed in the Janis household.
I love that. And then did your 10-year-old daughter, did she get to go on the cruise with you, or did she have some child care while mom and dad had
we actually brought my wife's sister and her niece from Mexico came down, or over or up, whichever you want to call it. And we went to Orlando. They went to Disney and the Universal, and while I was working during the hurricane. And then they were there for the first week of the cruise, and they left, and they went back home and they took care of Samantha and back to school, and we enjoyed the second week, just the two of us.
Incredible there. And Samantha's adopted too, by the way, so props to you and your wife for providing a home there. That's really neat.
Best day ever happened. Mother didn't know she was pregnant the day she gave birth back on June 14th.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
And we were lucky.
That really is. Well, praise God for that and for your family there, Dolph. We're really glad to hear about that. Your daughter's lucky to have you and your wife. And we'll there's no way to that's way more sentimental, I guess, than the next thing we have up to talk about. But it is important as people plan for retirement. Heck, this is called Clear Income Strategies. And today we're just going to break down very simply. I say I'm going to tee you up. You're breaking it down. You're the insurance professional, all right? But annuities 101. And I think that the reputation, if I understand correctly from what I've learned about them in my life and what I've learned from people like you, Dolph, the reputation of annuities has changed a little bit over the years. And I think it's something maybe a little more attractive to people than it used to be. Is that right?
100%. A lot of people hear the word annuities and they're going, oh, my God, no way, da, 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 da. It's like, because things are changed so much over the years. They hear a word and it's like so many people down talk them. Well, guess what? What they all down talk was a thing called the variable annuity. I mean, not insured, not guaranteed, not protected, fully at risk, lots of fees and stuff. It's the old time annuity word. Those are the ones that people did not like, and I still not many people that do like them. You're better off just putting your money in your back pocket and just paying yourself how much from the fees you're going to charge. But that's where part of annuity got a bad rap. Another part that gives annuities bad rap is there's a ton of different companies out there. Like I said, I work with over 35, 40 different companies and hundreds of different types of annuities out there. But there's not a one size fits all, Doug. I mean, annuities, you're breaking it down. There's 4 different types. I mean, people come up with these hybrid annuities. They come up with these fancy lift off annuities. They come up with this income. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a variable, there's a fixed, there's an index, and there's an immediate. Those are the 4 basic ones. The immediate annuity, don't really offer it. It's basically like the lottery annuity. You win the money, you take the payout. Once you die, the money goes away. So that's basically the immediate annuity unless you do a certain pay. Don't work with that. A fixed annuity is simple. It's the same thing as a CD, except it's owned by an insurance company and it's tax deferred, and generally the rates are higher. That's as simple as it can get. The variable annuity I already talked about. I wouldn't offer that to an Ohio State fan. Being a Michigan boy, that's how bad I personally believe variable annuities are. I mean, there's some people out there who swear how great variable annuities are. Yeah, you get more upside potential, but you got that downside risk in there. Where an indexed annuity, like a fixed indexed annuity, you can use it for growth for anywhere from 5 to 10 years or longer. You can use it for income, guaranteed lifetime income. Even if the account runs to zero, they're still going to continue to pay you. I currently have a client who's 104. Her account ran to zero 6.5 years ago, and they're still paying her $37,000 a year. Pretty good way of looking at things is that she's never going to run out of money. That's what the income annuities deserve for it. Then you have them where you can use them for like helping offset some medical observations like long-term care, or if you can't perform your ADLs, they have enhanced benefits on those. Then they have death benefit annuities where the annuities are just going on to your legacy planning. You're passing on legacy. Then they have other annuities that are specializing in RMDs when you're taking your RMDs out when you're 73, 74 years old, but preserving your principal. So that's the thing what gets so confusing is I don't think there's anything wrong with any annuity out there. I think it's wrong with getting the wrong annuity that's offered to you. If you're not getting offered the annuity that you're looking for instance, there's annuities out there that are offering up a 40% bonus, like 40%, some even 45% up front. What's the catch? What's the little hook in the lure trying to tell you about that? Because if you're going to get something that much up front, what's on the back end of it? Knowing the whole thing, telling the whole story. That's where we love here as educators first and advisors second. Making sure, are you looking for growth for today, or looking for liquidity for today, growth for tomorrow, income for life, or legacy planning? That's the 4 versions of what you're looking for. Every annuity out there, believe it or not, has those 4, but they specialize in different ways. Some companies specialize for people 30 to 50, some from 50 to 60, some from 60 to 70, some from 80s and up, and some from 90s and up. You got to find the right one that's looking for you. I mean, are you working with a captive agent versus a independent agent, Doug? That's a whole nother different story. Is are you going to get a second opinion? Like, I'm sure you've gone to a few NASCAR races over your lifetime. Do you always buy the ticket from the same person, or have you scoped out the different sites to make sure you get the best price for your buck?
In any kind of event, NASCAR or not, you're definitely trying to get the best bang for your buck. You don't just do set it and forget it when you're trying to get tickets, because the loyalty program at tickets is not existent.
No, I mean, you go to Ticketmaster, it's one price with one fee. You go to StubHub, it's another ticket with another price with another fee. You can get the same ticket, but you can be 10, 20% off at Geico. Always pronunciation, you get save 10 to 20% off your insurance. Whether they do or not, I don't know, depending on your insurance sale. But what I'm trying to get to is an independent agent has a author like myself, has no loyalty to anybody except for who's in front of them, the client. A captive agent you're talking to, they can offer 1, sometimes 2, and God forbid they get lucky to get 3. That's their portfolio. They have to work with one of those 3 options. Now, if you're working on that and that option is not correct for you, is that something that you want to do? Well, they could sell you ice in the desert and say, hey, this is never going to melt. But is that true or false? You don't know. You want to know, when it comes to annuities 101, what are you looking for? Are you looking for short term? Are you looking to layer? Are you looking just to grow? Are you looking for income, looking for legacy planning? You have to know yourself before you decide which one to get in there. There's no such thing as a bad annuity, just the wrong product being offered to you.
That's a great point. And so the way we could get to the nut of that, the way you can figure out what best suits someone or is the better suitment for someone is by coming to someone like you, Dolph, schedule a 20-minute Ask Anything session at guardyoursavings.com. And then what kind of questions do you ask a potential client as we begin to wrap up here? What kind of questions do you ask someone to make sure that if they indeed want to pursue an annuity, that you do line them up with the one that's best suitable for them?
Well, first thing I want to know is their risk tolerance, obviously. If they don't have any risk tolerance, then I said, well, why would you want an annuity if you don't care about losing money? Throw all your money in the market with a money manager and just go for it, or a broker manager or financial broker, whatever it might be. Because if you have $500,000 and in 5 years from now that money's gone and you don't care about it, hey, just go to Vegas and throw it that way. I mean, it's the same thing. So risk tolerance is huge. Second one is family, legacy planning. Do you want to leave a legacy of this money you've worked your whole life for? Where do you want that money to go? Third, do you have enough income coming in, guaranteed income like Social Security or pensions and annuities are the three only sources of guaranteed lifetime income that you can never outlive. Do you have enough money to live on today? Do you have enough money prepared to live on tomorrow? And if you outlive what you thought your certain age group, do you have enough money then? That's very important. How much money you have protected versus how much money you have at risk is another thing. Because the older you get, Doug, and folks out there listening, the more you want to protect your money. It's simple as that. And those are the key questions of finding out, what are you actually looking for? Do you know what you're looking for? 99% of my clients have a second advisor. And I'm not ashamed of saying that, because I work with the guaranteed side. I work with the protected side. I work with the protection against the unknown side. The other advisors, which I could do it myself if I want to, they charge you fees and they put your money at risk. That's as simple. That's fine, because some people want to have $100,000 protected. The other people want to have another $50,000 at risk. And if that $50,000 in 5 years is worth $200,000, congratulations. But if the $50,000 is gone, you can't blame anything except yourself. I mean, the best way to make money, Doug, is not to lose it. I live by that phrase all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, look, let's just take a round number here. If someone takes, I'm just going to use a small, like $10,000 and puts that in toward an annuity. The way I understand that a lot of these work is that the $10,000 is held in the annuity, and then there's a more conservative amount of growth than there would be in putting it in some higher yield things. But the idea is that the $10,000 is not going to, depending on the type of annuity, is always supposed to be there.
Yeah, depending on your term, the only way that $10,000 can go down, the only way is if you take money out of it.
I see. Yes, yeah.
We're in
the market's not going to take 10. It's going to take out of the 10.
Market loses 10%, you're down to 9,000. Market goes back up 10%, you're at 9,900. You're still losing. The annuity, the market goes up 10%. I mean, you're probably going to get about 60, 70% of that in most cases if you're in the right index. So you're up there to 10,600. Market goes down 30% the next year. You're still at 10,600.
I see.
You go up, but you can go up, you can't go down. And once the term is over with, because they all have surrender charges for the terms of anywhere from 1 year to 10 years, protecting the insurance company as well as yourself, then once your term ends, there's no penalties. It's just you have your money and you decide what else you want to do with it.
Yeah, and this is all in the annuity section is chapter 5 of your book, Cross the Bridge to Retirement, Keeping Your Financial Future Stress-Free. Am I right? So.
Yep, chapter 5 explains all of them in a little bit more detail, right down to the nits and grits. Like I said, we're educators first and advisors second, and making sure you know what you're getting into. I mean, there's different classes, A, B, and C, of what companies are rated and stuff, but you want to know. Don't always chase a bonus. Don't always chase something that you're not 100% sure of. You want to know what's best for you. I mean, if you're going to get into a car, you want to be in a car that you want to drive in, not what someone is telling you to drive in.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It's got to find what best suits everyone by getting with these insurance professionals. He's been at it a long time here, over 20 years in this business, and that is Dolph Janis here, Clear Income Strategies, guardyoursavings.com. And I'll say it again, schedule that 20-minute Ask Anything session, get Dolph's book, Cross the Bridge to Retirement, and thank you, Dolph, for spending the time with us here today. I know it's been a busy time getting caught up after your trips and chasing your 10-year-old around and all of that. So, you still got a good head of hair, Dolph, for all the chasing around you got to do there. So I'm glad that you're able to spend time with us.
I got a face for radio and podcasts. I've been saying I got the best face for radio, but God bless you and thanks for listening.
Hey, and you've got man hands too. All right. So that's the So you had to get one Seinfeld
Yes,
reference.
we did. We
Unless
had
I
to
missed
throw that
another
one in there. Okay.
I know. Is that bad to say? I don't know. Hey, but folks, again, guardyoursavings.com, and be sure and get this podcast over by sending the link to someone you know that may be in this season of life or that you think has questions about this, and you yourself subscribe to it and turn on the notifications so you know when the next episodes come out. Our previous episode, like we said, was qualified versus non-qualified money, and we've also taught recently about the Essential Guide to Retirement Planning and the power of Roth IRAs. That's all within the last couple of months here. So again, this is the Guard Your Savings podcast. We thank you for tuning in. He's Dolph Janis. I'm Doug Turnbull. Thank you so much, and we'll have another episode here coming for you shortly.
By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Randall Janis, North Carolina Insurance License number 8483456. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Dolph Janis is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Dolph Janis is licensed in your state, please call 704-919-0149.